I knew something was wrong the moment I saw her phone light up with a message preview that read, "Tell him yet." It was one of those moments where your stomach drops before your mind even processes anything. She was in the shower humming softly, like someone without a single worry in the world, while I stood there staring at the glowing screen as if it were about to confess something to me. I didn't open it, I couldn't. I just locked the phone and set it exactly where it had been. But that single line echoed in my head with a weight I wasn't prepared to carry. Tell him what? And why did whoever sent it assume she needed to tell me something? For the rest of the morning, I watched her move around the house with this strange mix of affection and detachment, like she cared, but from a distance. An emotional arm's length I couldn't cross no matter how close I stood. When I tried to kiss her forehead, she smiled but didn't lean into it. When I asked if everything was okay, she said she was tired, just tired, nothing else. But her voice cracked slightly on the word, and it wasn't the kind of crack exhaustion causes, it was the kind that comes from holding in something heavy. We were supposed to meet her friends later, a casual gathering at a small cafe they liked. I didn't want to go, not with that message haunting me, but she insisted we shouldn't cancel. "It'll be good for us," she said, with a softness that felt rehearsed. And I forced myself to believe her, because believing her was easier than risking the truth. But the unease grew. Every time she glanced at her phone, her fingers tightened around it before she slid it into her pocket. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, and mine couldn't form properly at all. I kept waiting for the right moment to ask her about the text, but every opportunity slipped away, drowned in my own fear of what she might say. At the cafe, her friends were already there. 3 of them, sitting around a small wooden table near the windows. They looked up when we arrived, and something about their expressions made my chest constrict. It wasn't pity exactly, but something dangerously close. They greeted me politely, but avoided holding eye contact for more than a second or two. They knew something I didn't. And that message replayed again in my mind like a taunt. I tried to sit next to her like I always did, but she hesitated for a split second before sliding into a seat across from me instead. It was such a small thing, barely a pause, but it sliced deeper than I expected. Her friends exchanged a quick glance, and I saw one of them nudge her leg under the table. It felt like a setup I didn't understand. She wrapped her hands around her mug, though it was empty, as if she needed something to anchor herself. And I knew, as surely as I knew my own name, that whatever she was about to say wasn't meant to be said privately. It was meant to be witnessed. My heart thudded painfully, and I felt my pulse in my throat, but I kept my face calm because what else could I do? She finally looked at me, really looked at me. Her eyes weren't angry or cold or hateful. They were sad. Sad in a way that already felt like goodbye. And then, with her friends watching like an audience she needed for courage, she said it. "I like you," she whispered, voice trembling but determined. "But I'm not in love with you." For a moment I couldn't breathe. The words didn't just hurt. They hollowed me out from the inside. Like she had reached into my chest and taken something vital with her bare hands. Her friends stared down at their drinks, unable to face the fallout, but she kept her gaze locked on mine, as if forcing herself not to hide. "I didn't want to say it like this," she added, cheeks flushed with shame or guilt, I wasn't sure which. "But I needed support. I knew I'd fall apart if I told you alone." Every part of me wanted to get up and leave. Run even. But my body stayed frozen in that chair, while my mind scrambled for something to cling to. I managed to ask, barely above a whisper, "Is there someone else?" That silence, God, that silence. It answered everything. She didn't nod, didn't shake her head. She just looked down, twisting her hands in her lap, the truth hanging in the air without needing words. Her friends shifted uncomfortably, but none of them stood up for me, or said this wasn't the right place or the right way. They were there for her, not for the marriage she was walking away from. I felt myself unraveling. Memories flashed through my mind, our late-night talks, the plans we made, the tiny routines we built together. All of it suddenly felt like a lie, or at least something that mattered more to me than it ever did to her. I wondered when she had stopped loving me. Was it gradual? Was it sudden? Did she try to fight it? Or did she let it go the moment someone else appeared with fresher attention? She reached for my hand across the table, maybe out of habit or guilt, but I pulled mine away before she could touch me. And that was the moment I felt something inside me crack. Not loudly, not violently, but quietly, like a branch breaking under slow pressure. I stood up because I couldn't sit there anymore. The walls felt too close, the air too thin, and the eyes around me too heavy. She called my name barely audible, but I didn't turn back. I needed distance, space to breathe, to understand how the person I loved could dismantle our life in front of spectators. When I finally stepped outside, the cold air hit me like a slap, grounding me just enough to keep me upright. I don't remember walking home. I only remember the ache. A deep, pulsing ache that lived in my bones, my chest, my throat. I thought love was solid, something that could be repaired if cracked. But sometimes it simply dissolves, quietly, without warning. Days have passed since then, and I haven't heard from her beyond a short message saying she's sorry. Sorry that she didn't know how to stop feeling what she felt. I don't respond. I can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because the truth I'm left with is simple and brutal. Sometimes the person you'd fight for is the same person who stands there and lets you fall alone.